Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajayana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajayana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajayana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada की जय ग्रंथराज भगवद गीता की जय असेंबल भक्त वृंद की जय Hare Krishna. Welcome back to our Gita study for Chapter 3, Karma Yoga. So anyone remember what we discussed last time? What was the question of Arjuna? Let us see what was the question of Arjuna. You can see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Pravesh, please read verse 1 and 2.
Text 1. Arjuna said, O Janardana, O Kesava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare? If you think that intelligence is better than fruity war. 2. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me.
Yeah. So the question is, if you think Buddhi Yoga is better, then why do I have to work? I would simply use the intelligence, sit down, and read the scripture, and why should I act? Why should I be engaged in this warfare? Ultimately, Arjuna is trying to avoid fighting. So, although he is surrendered to Krishna, he is pure devotee, and for our benefit, for the benefit of all of us, Arjuna wants clarification from Krishna. Hmm. So you said work in Buddhi Yoga, and now you are saying, fight. So what do you mean by that? So Krishna is going to elaborate that. Krishna is going to answer that. That actually, whatever I'm telling you, Arjuna, it is a different stage of elevation for the same achievement of the same goal. So, okay, who can volunteer to read 3, 4, and 5?
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are included to understand it by empirical, philosophical speculation, and others by devotional service. Text 4 Not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. Text 5 Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment.
Thank you. So, Lord Krishna is answering that there are two classes of men. Some are inclined for empirical philosophical speculation, and we had a comparison table last Sunday. Empirical philosophical speculation is a Sankhya Yoga, and the others are devotional service, Karma Yoga, serving Krishna with devotion. So the devotees who are working in devotion for Krishna's service, they are getting help from Krishna and his devotees. Whereas the empirical philosophical speculators, they are speculating, they are on their own. Their goal is also not Krishna, so they may get distracted. I will present those yoga leaders. We'll see what are the distractions and what are the different stages of the yoga ladder. So Lord Krishna is saying that soul is by nature active, so you cannot remain inactive. Although you may not physically act, but mentally you will act, because everyone has got some qualities influenced by three modes of material nature. We have discussed those modes in the dramas that was done for chapter 2. So sattva guna, raja guna, and tamo guna, mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. When we are in influence of one of those, or basically we are influenced by combination of those. So depending on which one is predominating, sometimes we act in certain way, other time we act in certain other ways. Sometimes we feel very lazy, sometimes we feel very active, sometimes we are energized, other times we are depressed, like that. So depending on the modes we are in, we may be acting. So you will not be able to be still. You have to be active depending on your nature you have acquired. That's what Krishna says. Today's verse is verse 6. Okay, let's Some another volunteer, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's read 4 verses, another 4 verses.
Text 6. One who restrains the senses of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly delude himself and is called a pretender. Test 7. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior.
So Krishna is giving this comparison that if you are physically, mechanically you are not acting, then your mind, because of your nature, the modes will be impelling you, the modes will be forcing you to act in certain way. So your mind will not be settled. Your mind will be planning for sense enjoyment. Mechanically you may be withdrawing. So on the other hand, if someone accepts one's situation, one does not say that, oh, I have become sannyasi, I have renounced everything. So one accepts, okay, I am in this situation and I have to act according to my situation. Somebody is householder, somebody is a student, somebody is working in certain other ways, somebody farmer. So one has to do one's duty as per the psychophysical nature and then offer that to Krishna in Krishna consciousness. So that means getting detachment gradually by offering one's work to Krishna. Then that is superior than simply, running away from the society. That's what Krishna says. And we'll read this further purports and then we go through the slides. But can you, read another 3 verses.
8. Perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. 9. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage. 10. In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent fourth generation of men and gods along with sacrifice for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, Be thou happy by this yajna sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation.
Thank you. So the section 1 is Arjuna's question and Lord Krishna answering. Working according to your psychophysical nature is better than abstaining from the work. Lord Krishna gives advice to Arjuna in verse 8 that Arjuna, for your stage, like there are different stages of evolution of one's spiritual advancement. One may be in different stage. Someone just begin the spiritual practice. Another one may be realizing the Atma. Another one is realizing the relationship with Atma and Paramatma. And another one is realizing the Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and accepting one's situation, one's relationship with Krishna as servant of Krishna. So there are different degree of advancement. Right now, Arjuna is in a situation where Krishna is telling, perform your prescribed duty. At this stage, you have to do your prescribed duty. Because you cannot even maintain physical body without work. In the next sloka, text 9, Krishna takes Arjuna to the higher step. Arjuna, you can perform the work in a detached way, prescribed duty, But then if you go a step higher, you offer your work to me. So sacrifice for Vishnu. So Krishna is the original Vishnu. Krishna says, everything comes from me. Vishnu is expansion of Krishna. So Krishna is saying that one has to offer the sacrifice for Vishnu. That means if you are working, you offer the result to Krishna. If you don't do that, then we get the reaction, sinful reaction. Therefore, Krishna is advising to work or do the duty for satisfaction of Vishnu or satisfaction of Krishna. So when we do that, then what happens is that we get free from karma. Verse 10 onwards, it is a different section. Lord Krishna will tell, okay, if you are not able to do this nishkama karma or the working without attachment to the results and offering it to me, then you start with karma kanda. That means you want to enjoy, but enjoy as per the process, yajna process, this process of sacrifice given in the scriptures. So let's see each of the verse with purport now. Okay. 3.6. कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य यास्ते मनसा स्मरण इंद्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचार स उच्यते. Mithyachara is keyword here. Okay, translation. Aditya, can you lead?
Translation. One who restrains the senses of action but whose mind dwells on sense objects certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. Purport. There are many pretenders who refuse to work in Krishna consciousness but make a show of meditation while actually dwelling within the mind upon sense enjoyment. Such pretenders may also speak on dry philosophy in order to bluff sophisticated followers. But according to this verse, these are the greatest cheaters. For sense enjoyment, one can act in any capacity of the social order, but if one follows the rules and regulations of his particular status, he can make gradual progress in purifying his existence. But he who makes a show of being a yogi while actually searching for the objects of sense gratification must be called the greatest cheater, even though he sometimes speaks of philosophy. His knowledge has no value because the effects of such a sinful man's knowledge are taken away by the illusory energy of the Lord. Such a pretender's mind is always impure, and therefore his show of yogic meditation has no value whatsoever.
Thank you. Is there something stand out to you? Or is there something that...
Sir, from this slok, like I can understand that there are many people in this world who will say that by doing this thing you can achieve moksha and all. But there is only one and only one way. By following Krishna consciousness, you can achieve that moksha, or you can go back to Godhead. Otherwise, you are just following those cheaters.
Very nice. So those cheaters means that means I say that, okay, I am a liberated soul, I am a Mahayogi, and I, quit and go to the secluded place, and you come and I bless you with some ash, and I create some magical effects. So I may have some siddhis. Srila Prabhupada used to say that there was a yogi, he used to witness him that he used to, if you go there, he used to produce like 2 rasagullas in his hand. So he says, what is that? He is no better than a halwai. So yoga siddhi is like somebody may have that kind of siddhi, but that may be a distracted yogi, like he's not working. There is no productivity for the society. He's not directing them in a proper way. He's not giving Krishna consciousness. So while one dedicates one life in Krishna's service, that means he is giving only Krishna consciousness to everybody, not just the effect of some side effects, like creating something magic. Those are different kind of siddhis mentioned in the Shastras. So those are not the goal of a devotee. Srila Prabhupada also says somebody takes sannyas. Sannyas means you quit everything, your occupational duty. You don't work in society, but you renounce, and after some time, they get bored of their position. They come back to the politics. That you can see in India now. Many sannyasis, they are entering to the politics. So the goal of sannyasi is not to enter to politics. Goal of sannyasi is to purely teach everybody about Krishna consciousness. So anyway, so before one is purified completely, before one's consciousness is fully fixed in Krishna, one should not artificially renounce. That's what Lord Krishna is telling. Because if someone artificially renounces, then one's mind is looking for the sense enjoyment. He also gives the example of some yogi in New York City he met. He says, after they finished their yoga, they were, smoking. So he says, if you are a yogi, if your senses are controlled, why do you need to smoke? Prabhas, you have something to share?
Yeah, I recently heard a lot about siddhis, like people meditate for long periods of times and they are able to achieve something like, lifting themselves up. Well, all of these small things might sound trivial, but some people I heard get siddhis on, talking with animals or
Yeah.
such crazy stuff. But I was wondering, does Krishna consciousness, what does Krishna consciousness tell about, say, about achieving yogi, siddhis?
Yeah. Krishna consciousness, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the inaugurator of Krishna consciousness movement. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanta. It is a Bengali verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lord Chaitanya's glory there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanta. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Atayava Shanta. So Bhukti means somebody trying to enjoy senses, sense gratifiers. Mukti means somebody wants to quit the world and become impersonal, merge in light, Brahma Jyoti, Mukti. Siddhi is a yoga siddhi. Somebody wants to become bigger than the biggest object. Somebody can Ishita, Vasita, there are different there are things like you can extend your hand and get pomegranate from India, for example, or you can extend your hand and then you can get some of the things. You can touch the moon, you can touch the sun, like that. You may get those siddhis. So these are all selfish desires. Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi, Kami, Sakale, Ashant. These are all ashant. Sorry. They are not peaceful because they are just working for their own selfish desire. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam. Those who are pure devotee of Krishna, they are Nishkam. They don't have their own personal desires. Their desire is Krishna's desire. Whatever Krishna's desire is, they want to fulfill Krishna's desire. So they don't have their own personal agenda. There is no conflict between Krishna's plan and their own goal in life. So therefore they are completely shant. If you have read the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada says that Lord Krishna is a complete whole, absolute truth, right? So all form of incompleteness that we feel is because of incomplete realization of the complete whole. And this is what he says. Because we don't have complete realization of Krishna, who is complete whole, so we feel need for different other things. For example, let's say you are, working for your king of Nepal. So if you are working in royal house, then you will enjoy the same facility as the king is enjoying. Basically, you live in the same house, you will have similar food, you will have all the facilities the royal family is enjoying, because you also live there, you work there, right? So you will have very less personal desire, because you already have their royal transportation. So why would you hire some taxi or Uber or whatever they call it in Nepal? I don't know. You see, so your needs are all taken care by the king if you are working there. I mean, this is crude example. Maybe the king of Nepal is not ideal. He may not have that much power nowadays. But so imagine like you are working for the supreme king, Krishna. So you won't have any other need. He will completely take care of your needs. Completely, when we depend on Krishna, he takes care of, he knows what is best for us. Is that making sense? Is that okay, Pravesh?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you read this verse then? 3.7. Let me read the Sanskrit and you read this, okay? Yastu indriyani manasa niyamya aram niyamarabhate arjuna karmendriye karma yogam asakta sa vishishyate. Read.
Translation. On the other hand, if a person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior. Purport. Instead of becoming a pseudo-transcendentalist for the sake of wanton living and sense enjoyment, it is far better to remain in one's own business and execute the purpose of life, which is to get free from material bondage and enter into the kingdom of God. The prime Swartha Gati, or goal of self-interest, is to reach Vishnu. The whole intuition of Varna and Asrama is designed to help us reach this goal of life. A householder can also reach this destination by regulated service in Krishna consciousness. For self-realization, one can live a controlled life as prescribed in the Shastras and continue carrying out his business without attachment, and in that way make progress. A sincere person who follows this method is far better situated than the false pretender who adopts so borderless spiritualism to cheat the innocent public. A sincere sweeper in the street is far better than the charlatan meditator who meditates only for the sake of making a living.
Thank you. So what is the purpose of life? Srila Prabhupada mentions in this purpose.
To reach Vishnu.
Purpose of life is to
Reach Vishnu.
sorry.
Get free from material bondage.
Yeah, get free from material bondage. What is material bondage? Being in the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease, right? Getting one body after another. In the cycle of this material world, getting material body. And because of that conditioning, because of the certain psychophysical nature or certain limitation of the body, we are suffering. Right now, human beings are suffering. Maybe ants are not suffering as much as human being, who knows? Or maybe they are suffering more. So every living entities, because of the material nature, heat and cold and different uh, three tapa, it says the calamities because of the nature, because of other living entities, because of our own mind and senses, we are suffering. Animals are also suffering. So the goal of life, human life, is ultimately the goal of all the jivas is to overcome this cycle of birth and death, enter into the kingdom of God, right? But then it is very essential for human life, because in human life we can sit down together and study this Bhagavad Gita. We can study the words of Krishna. We can follow Krishna's instruction. And then when we follow Krishna's instruction, then we get rid of this material bondage and we can enter into kingdom of God. And what is the best self-interest? What is the selfishness, real selfishness? Like Srila Prabhupada, he says, like I mentioned that Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Atayava Shant. Nishkam means I don't have my personal desire, but my desire is Krishna's desire. So self-interest, my real self-interest is to reach Vishnu or Krishna, to please Krishna. And to do that, I have to do my duty as per my psychophysical nature. A householder, depending on one's nature, one has to do one's duty and then gradually make progress while doing one's duty, hearing Krishna's word in Bhagavad Gita, following the prescription for this Kali Yuga, which is chanting the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, if you have attended our Science of Self-Realization module, we discussed ABCD, Association of Devotees. A for Association of Devotees, B for books that we are reading. In Association of Devotee, we are reading Bhagavad Gita. C for chanting. We should chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the beginning. We do the invocation chanting. And we suggest everybody to chant so that one can understand Bhagavad Gita properly. When we understand Bhagavad Gita properly, we can chant properly. So on and on we can advance, we can come closer and closer to Krishna by chanting his name and by following his instruction in Bhagavad Gita. And the last item, A, B, C, D, the D is diet. We offer the food to Krishna and accept prasadam. So when we keep doing that while doing our duty in this world, then gradually we make progress toward Krishna. That's what Krishna says, do your karma yoga. That means connecting our activities for pleasure of Krishna, in Krishna consciousness. Okay, let's move to verse 8. And there is a direct advice, instruction of Lord Krishna to Arjuna. Niyatam kuru karma tvam karma jyayo hi akarmanah sarira yatra pi chate na prasidyed akarmanah. Okay, who is next? Somebody else can volunteer? Read.
Perform your prescribed duty. For doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. There are many pseudo-meditators who misrepresent themselves as belonging to high parentage, and great professional men who falsely boast that they have sacrificed everything for the sake of advancement in spiritual life. Lord Krishna did not want Arjuna to become a pretender. Rather, the Lord desired that Arjuna perform his prescribed duties as set forth for Satriyas. Arjuna was a householder and a military general, and therefore it was better for him to remain as such and perform his religious duties as prescribed for the householder Kshatriya. Such activities gradually cleanse the heart of a mundane man and free him from material contamination. So called renunciation for the purpose of maintenance is never approved by the Lord, nor by any religious scripture. After all, one has to maintain one's body and soul together by some work. Work should not give up capriciously without purification of materialistic propensities. Anyone who is in the material world is certainly possessed of the impure propensity for lording it over material nature, or in other words, for sense gratification. Such polluted propensities have to be cleared. Without doing so through prescribed duties, one should never attempt to become a so called transcendentalist renunciation work and living at the cost of others.
Thank you. You want to share something that you understood from this?
So one should not have, when they work, their body and soul, they have to work together. They should not be in the materialistic life. That's it, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So, in the material world, when we are trying to enjoy, thinking that all the things are for my enjoyment, that means we are selfish, right? So, Srila Prabhupada says, before one heads out as a renounced person, before one claims that one is sacrificing one's whole life for service of God, one has to do one's duty in society. One has to get purified of the tendency of enjoying Krishna's property. Everything belongs to Krishna. We have studied that everything is coming from Krishna. Krishna is source of everything. Our body is also Krishna's property. Our intelligence, our mind, everything is Krishna's property. All the ingredients, all the resources in the world, everything belongs to Krishna. So we have to get trained how to use everything in Krishna's service. Unless we have that training and then we are actively using Krishna's property in Krishna's service, when we claim that, oh, I have achieved spiritual perfection, now my whole life is for Krishna, and I don't have to do my social duty, my prescribed duty, that will be pretentious. That's what Krishna says in the last verse. That is mithyachara, pretender. In verse 6 he says, right? He says you have to do your duty. It's because now it's saying if you don't do your duty, you cannot maintain your physical body. But those who take artificial sannyas without doing their duty, without working for the work they are trained, like Arjuna is trained here as a military man. Somebody may be trained in the society as a doctor. Somebody may be trained as a lawyer, or everybody have some kind of training. So while doing those activities as a lawyer, doctor, engineer, or scientist, while being in that occupation, one has to please Krishna by that occupation. It's not that one quit, then only one can do Krishna consciousness. No, while being in society, being in family, one has to learn how to use everything in Krishna's service, how to please Krishna by one's occupation. The whole life can be dedicated. The work that we are doing, we should do it for pleasure of Krishna. And then we should get purified. Then one can teach others. And so when we take the role of full-time teacher, then that is purified consciousness. Somebody's purified consciousness can take the role of full-time teacher. When Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, made his passport in India to come to United States, in the passport, you have to write what is your occupation those days. I don't know. Nowadays, I think we don't write those. Like, what is my occupation? Nobody writes in passport. But in Srila Prabhupada's passport, in addition to the name and date of birth, they mentioned his occupation. And Prabhupada wrote his occupation. Can someone guess? What was his occupation in the passport of Prabhupada?
Pharmacist.
Huh?
Pharmacist.
Pharmacist. Okay. This is the time when he was, he had taken sannyas already. And he was coming to USA to propagate Krishna consciousness full time. He had already fulfilled his pharmacist duty, and he has moved after purification. He had moved to the sannyasa stage. Okay, so not artificially, but after purification, he moved to sannyasa stage. Now he came to USA to propagate Krishna consciousness. So what was his occupation? Can someone else guess? No?
Instructor, teacher.
Yes, teacher, exactly. He wrote his occupation as teacher. Yes. So the role of sannyasi is to teach the entire society about Krishna, not about how to do farming and how to make a new restaurant business or new pharmacy business. Not like that. Sannyasi's role is not to open industry, not to open the different social welfare things. But sannyasi's business is to open institutions and facilities and inspire everybody to surrender to Krishna, to please Krishna, to teach everybody how to use everything in Krishna's service. That's what Srila Prabhupada did. He translated Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and he came and he was teaching Bhagavad Gita from the beginning in US. That's how this movement has grown up, that we are able to read his Bhagavad Gita in almost every city now. We are reading Krishna's Bhagavad Gita. Without Prabhupada, we would not even have known where is the book Bhagavad Gita. I mean, many people have not seen this book even in their life. So we are very fortunate, very fortunate, that we came in contact with Srila Prabhupada and his followers, and we are able to read Bhagavad Gita, the pure message of Lord Krishna, for our ultimate welfare, which is to get rid of the cycle of material bondage and go back to Godhead. Okay, so verse 9. Lord Krishna says, Yagyarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangraha samachara. Okay, let's see who is there now. Lovinda Mataji, are you there?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Are you able to read?
Yeah, Prabhu, I'll read. Actually, I had a shot yesterday, so I'm
Oh,
feeling
okay,
little
that's fine.
tired.
That's fine. We can see someone else.
I can read, Prabhu. That's okay.
Okay.
That should
Okay,
be
as
okay.
long as you're comfortable. Thank you.
Yeah. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duty for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage. Since one has to work even for the simple maintenance of the body, the prescribed duty for particular social position and quality are so made that purpose can be fulfilled. Yagna means Lord Vishnu or sacrificial performance. All sacrificial performance also are meant for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. The Vedas enjoin Yagno ve Vishnu. In other words, the same purpose is served whether one perform prescribed yagna or directly serve Lord Vishnu. Krishna consciousness is therefore performance of yagna as prescribed in this verse. The Varna Ashrama institutes also aim at satisfying Lord Vishnu. Varna Ashram Varta Purusena Paraha Pumaha Vishnu Aradhyate. Therefore, one has to work for satisfaction of Vishnu. Any other work done in this material world will be cause of bondage, for both good and evil work have their reaction, and any reaction bind the performer. Therefore, one has to work in Krishna consciousness to satisfy Krishna. And while performing such activities, one is in liberated stage. This is the great art of doing work, and in the beginning, this process requires very expert guidance. One should therefore act very diligently under the expert guidance of a devotee of Lord Krishna or under the direct instruction of Lord Krishna himself, under whom Arjuna had opportunity to work. Nothing should be performed for sense gratification, but everything should be done for satisfaction of Krishna. This practice will not only save one from reaction of work, but also gradually elevate one to transcendental loving service of Lord, which alone can raise one to kingdom of God.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Is there anything you would like to share? Like you are still feeling comfortable?
So this verse, it is prescribed that one should perform one duty, but in the service of God. Like, everyone has their prescribed duties to perform. So one should continue that prescribed duty, but in the service of Krishna,
Thank
for
you.
Krishna's satisfaction, basically.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes. So the theme is that when we do that, then we will get rid of this material bondage, right?
Yeah.
Cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. And when we please Krishna, then we can get out of this samsara. So prescribed duty, Srila Prabhupada tells that the Vishnu Purana says, and Lord Krishna says here, that one has to do one's duty according to the Varna and Ashram. Varna means one's psychophysical nature, and Ashram is the stage of one's body. So somebody is more scholarly, they teach the scriptures, they study scriptures, teach the scriptures. They are more in mode of goodness. So by qualification, they are called Brahmanas, those who are in mode of goodness. Then those who are in mode of passion and goodness mix. They are Kshatriyas. They may have courage. They have leadership qualities. So the Kshatriyas can lead the society. They can become kings and soldiers, like Arjuna is. And Arjuna's brothers are. That's why they are in the battlefield, because they want to regulate the society, establish the rules and regulations as per Krishna's desire. Then some people are in mode of mixture mode of passion and ignorance. The Vaishya community in different modes of passion and ignorance, and they are mostly occupied in Krishi Gauraksha, Vanijyam. Lord Krishna says they are engaged in farming, cow protection, and trade of those items. Business revolving around the farm products. Vaishya community, cow protection is very essential, because so the Kshatriyas protect the human beings. Vaishya protect cows, because cows give ingredients: milk, yogurt, ghee, urine, and cow dung. These are 5 panchakavya. They are used by Brahmanas for doing this yajna, sacrifice to the Vishnu. Yajna is performed by the Brahmanas, but the ingredients are coming from the Vaishyas, mercantile communities, and the facilities are provided by the Kshatriyas. And the labor force is coming from the Shudra communities, those who are trained to do skilled jobs, those who are trained to work by their hands. So the workforce is the Shudra class. So the purpose of the different varnas, and then ashram is in the beginning of one's life up to the first quarter of one's life. One is student life, brahmachari. Then the householder's life, grihastha. Then vanaprastha, the renounced life, and then the final, the sannyas. So these are 4 varna and ashramas, and depending on one's stage in varnashrama, one has to do those duties. If I am a grihastha and right now I am doing some job, then whatever my training and my stage of life, I have to do that. But I cannot do it forever. Like I have to retire sometime. So after retirement, my role will be different. Simply because I am a doctor, I cannot remain doctor until I die. I should retire, and I should move ahead in a spiritual direction. So my ashram may change, although my varna may be there. So the purpose of all of this, the varna and ashrama, is to work in cooperation with each other. Everybody in the society work in cooperation to each other, and the goal of everyone is to satisfy Vishnu. Because only Shudra cannot satisfy Vishnu. The Brahmanas have to do that. Brahmanas are also considered head of the society. Kshatriyas are arm of the society, protection. Then the west, the belly area is the Vaishya community. Cow protection, farming, and producing the food. And then Shudra, providing the labor. So cooperation of the whole body, like if my hand says that no, I don't cooperate with the mouth, then I will be hungry. So head has to cooperate with leg has to cooperate with head. So this varnashrama system created by Krishna himself. Lord Krishna says in chapter 4 that this varnashrama system created by me. Lord Krishna created this. It's not artificial that some people may say, oh, this is a caste system. No, it is based on psychophysical nature. It's not by birth. It is by one's nature. I cannot become a policeman. I don't have that physical and psychology of a police like that. So one has to have that kind of quality to do certain occupation. So The purpose of all of these, the whole society, Varnasrama system, is to please Krishna with cooperation with each other. Any question on that? Okay, so we are in section 1, verse 3.1 to 3.9. We completed up to verse 9, which is section 1, dealing with the confusion of Arjuna, asking whether I should renounce or work, Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga. So he just clarifying. Lord Krishna says that your understanding of Buddhi Yoga is not correct. Basically, Buddhi Yoga means using your intelligence to work. It's not just to avoid the work. Arjuna was thinking that, oh, you are saying Buddhi Yoga, so then you are not saying to work. So he said, no, you have to work, but without attachment and for exclusive purpose of pleasing Vishnu. So the next section will be from Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga. If someone is not yet there in the Niskama Karma, that means working without desire of the fruits, but working to please Krishna. If someone is not yet there, then Krishna will say, okay, you start at lower stage. Perform the duties as per the scriptures, even if you have a mood of enjoyment. So gradually you go upwards in the yoga ladder to work without attachment to the results. So now we are in verse 6. I will go again over a few slides here to give summary. Okay, sorry. Okay, so one should not artificially renounce. If someone artificially renounce, then the mind is not settled yet. Mind is dwelling on sense objects, manasa smaran. Physically not acting, but mentally acting. One may be planning for enjoyment after the yoga practice. Okay, so such person is called mithyachara. Mithyachara sauchate is a pretender. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begin karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior. Krishna says that it is better to perform karma yoga. And Srila Prabhupada says a sincere sweeper is far better than a charlatan meditator. So here is sincere sweeper, and you can see charlatan meditator. He is meditating on TV. So this kind of siddhi, Prabhupada was asking, like, what Krishna thinks about the siddhi. So some yogis, they can elevate themselves from the ground. So what is the use of that? Simply they can save some like few bucks for the furniture. Okay. Srila Prabhupada says, how you are better than a boatman. Suppose you become a yogi and walking on water, surface of water, then how you are better than, better to give $1, those days, even like few cents to cross the river by a boatman. So, give some little bit of money and cross the river. Why should you work hard so much to walk on water? Now, what the benefit? Even Srila Prabhupada says, what is the benefit you will get even if you go to the moon and bring the dust? So even if you may extend your hand and then get some dust from moon, you can achieve the siddhi. So anyway, I mean, that is useless, he says. I mean, artificially renouncing, but you are watching TV. That means you are enjoying the masala TV. So that's a pretender. Direct instruction of Krishna: perform your prescribed duty. Yatam kuru karma tvam. Perform your prescribed duty. Because without doing duty, you cannot maintain even your body. So here is Gurijana Prabhu's comment on this. He is disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He tells the link between all of this verse to the next stage, section 1 and 2. So verse 3 to 8, the verses that we read today, have hinted at Nishkama Karma. Work with both knowledge and detachment. Nishkama Karma is working with buddhi and detachment, jnana and vairagya, both. Nishkama Karma, in other words, combine karma and jnana. Nishkama Karma allows the soul to be active, but in a detached way. So a Nishkam Karma yogi is doing his duty without attachment to the fruits, but he is offering to Krishna. But he is protected from material entanglement. Higher is stated in text 9. Just now we read it. It is when one's knowledge increases to include knowledge of Vishnu and the detached activities one then performs are offered to him, offered to Vishnu in devotion, with devotion. Nishkam Karma is meant to lead to bhakti. So in the beginning, one may be a karmi, then one may become karmi yogi. Sakama karma yogi means desiring the fruit, linking the fruit to Krishna. Nishkama karma yogi 100% offer the fruit to Krishna, the whole work to Krishna. And then one offers the whole activity and the result to Vishnu. That is the bhakti, that is the devotion. Unless we have that love and devotion to Krishna, Vishnu, we cannot offer that. We are always thinking, why should I give to him? Why should I give to him? Like that. So we have to have that, develop the love. We have to have this first knowledge and detachment, and then knowledge of our relationship with Krishna. When we realize Krishna is my master, I am Krishna's servant, and then my duty is to serve my Lord. He is so kind. He has given me my body, my karma indriya, my jnana indriya, all the materials, all the resources. Everything belongs to him. I am his servant. My duty is to serve him. With that love and devotion, that means the bhakti, the devotional service starts. When we start pleasing Krishna. The question arises, what if a person is overly attached to material life and cannot perform Nishkam Karma Yoga? Then what happens? Krishna explains this. Krishna now describes the yoga ladder, beginning with the lowest rung in the yoga ladder, gradually moving higher in the yoga ladder. The next 7 verses, verse 10 to 16, describe the progressive stage of yoga ladder from Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga. So that's the yoga ladder. If you are stuck into one of the stages, then you will be called that kind of yogi. Somebody will be called Karma Yogi, somebody will call Jnana Yogi, Hatha Yogi, like that. But if you are moving up on the ladder, you are Bhakti Yogi. The ultimate top, you know the goal, ultimate goal. You know the top rung, the Bhakti Yoga. That means you may be practicing, but you are a Bhakti Yogi, you are practicing Bhakti Yogi. You may have yourself in the stage of Karma Yoga, but your goal is to please Krishna. So I will give that comparison of yoga later next Sunday. And verse 9, today's verse is this devotion. Work has to be done as a sacrifice for Vishnu. Otherwise, anything that we do without pleasing to Vishnu will cause bondage, attachment to this material world. We will get another body. Depending on what is our desire, we will get that kind of body in the next birth. Therefore, Arjuna is advised here to perform duty for satisfaction of Vishnu. And in that way, we can remain free from material bondage. So we'll discuss about the yoga ladder. And there are some graphics, yoga ladder graphics. I will share it in the beginning of next Sunday. Any discussion, any realization that we got today, or anything, any question that one may like to discuss? Everyone is good? So Lord Krishna says, you do your duty. Lord Chaitanya says, yes. Sthane sthitam shrutigatam tanuman manobhi. Stay in your occupation, stay in your position, and keep hearing. So stay in your occupation means not just, oh, I'm a scientist, I just do research and do, I don't have to, pray to Krishna. One may say like that, oh, Krishna says, karma yoga. That means I'm working hard. I'm a businessman. I have 3 factories. I work very hard. I tell all my laborers to work very hard and produce toys or produce some drugs or whatever nowadays, vaccines. I work very hard. One may say like that. And they have this slogan, work is worship. Is that Krishna prescribing here? How do you understand that their thought? Is that Krishna saying that? Yes, Pravesh, you unmuted, but I don't hear anything.
No, I was just saying that he didn't say that. That was opposite of what we just read. I mean, work is not really worship. Dedicating your work might be better than renunciation, acting like renunciation.
Dedicating to whom? What was the advice of Krishna in verse 9?
Sacrifice to Vishnu.
Satisfy Vishnu, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why we are called Vaishnava. And Krishna is source of Vishnus. Sometime we'll discuss about different types of Vishnu and origin of Vishnu. I will share those. I think I have shared in the science of self-realization how Krishna is source of all the Vishnus. Okay, so dedicate one's prescribed duty for cooperatively pleasing Vishnu. Yajna, we'll study about the yajna in the onwards from verse 10 next Sunday. So not just doing and dedicating, we have to get the guidance how to dedicate. So the guidance comes from Srila Prabhupada. Dedicate your work, connect your work. How to connect that? We have to have remembrance of Krishna. Always remember Krishna. Never forget Krishna. So while doing all our activities, every day we have to chant Hare Krishna. When we are chanting, we remember Krishna. When we remember Krishna, we will remember that yes, I have to work for Krishna. I have to use my body for Krishna's service because it belongs to Krishna. So we have to have that remembrance of Krishna in every activity. When I drink water, Krishna says in chapter 7, I'm taste of water. So I have to, when I'm drinking water, I can remember Krishna. That yes, Krishna is taste of water. Krishna says, I am the splendor of sun and moon. So I am the light of sun and moon, he says. So when we see sun and moon, we see the light, we can realize Krishna's presence. So Krishna is person, but all the sun and moon and everything, Krishna's energy. They're all related with Krishna. So we have to offer everything to Krishna. So how to offer everything Krishna? By connecting with Krishna. By reading his book, Bhagavad Gita, by chanting his name, by offering food to Krishna, by offering our activities to Krishna. Any other thought or sharing? Okay. All right. I hope we can gradually progress in Krishna consciousness, and I wish you all happy Krishna conscious week. We will read next section next Sunday. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.